I'm Charles Babb. This is Scott Hamilton. We're here today on Spirituality and Sports. Scott, thanks again for being with us. I was fortunate to have a mother who gave up a lot for me.
Oh man, mine did too.
And I'd love to hear more about your mother. She sounds like quite the lady. In one of your books you mentioned that she had someone else bake a chocolate cake. And she was in the hospital, so she could give the chocolate cake to someone else. Was it for their birthday?
Yeah, she was. I mean, there are endless stories of my mom and what she did for people. It was funny because my dad was a PhD professor of biology, who was very much an academic. Just all into. Nobody's taken my class for the grade. No one. You're going to learn something, and if you're strong enough, and if I'm going to test you, you get an A. That's spectacular. He only gave a handful of A's out, from what I understand. He was tough. And so to this day, if I meet somebody that had my dad for biology, I go, don't judge me, okay? I was like, I'm so sorry. He was tough, and he was, but he loved, and a lot of the people that did well in his class went on to have big, huge careers in, biopharma, whatever. Anyway, my mom was the nurturer. She was very loving, and, I always joke that she was a 4x4, and she didn't have a lot of self-esteem, but she had a friend in every single person she ever met. And she would be selfless and giving, and she would anticipate people's needs, and she was always available to, her kids in her class. And when I started skating, she was a second grade school teacher, and by the time I was done, with them paying for my skating, she was an associate professor at Bowling Green State University. So she was raising a family, working, and going to school all at the same time. And that was extraordinary. She was very self-sacrificial. And, to keep me on the ice, she wouldn't get new clothes for years. And she was always doing things for other people in the community and students. When my mother was going through the throes of her cancer, there was a woman in one of her classes. She and her fiance had just found out that the woman had a breast cancer, and so the best course of action was double mastectomy. It's over. And so she felt that, this woman felt that her fiance deserved a whole woman, right? It's so sad. And so she broke off the engagement. And my mom, while she was in the throes of her own cancer, put them together and counseled them to the point where, they both truly understood what the relationship was. They got married, they started a family, and I just know it was a big success story. But, that's who my mom was. She was very, again, loving, funny, first one to laugh. Her face would just sort of disappear, whenever she laughed, her eyes would go away. And it was just, I have nothing but beautiful memories of her, and all of them, all of them were of her laughing and her joking and her, anticipating others' needs. None of them were of, being in her hospital room the last night before she died and seeing the condition she was in. I remember that, but that's not the first thing that pops into my mind when I think of her.
Two questions. One, you've said before that when your mom was alive, you feel like you disappointed her, but when she died, you never wanted to do that again. And second of all, you have 5 minutes with God, and your mom's there. What do you say to her now that you wish you would have said when you were 18?
Yeah.
It's not like you're mature enough to
So let's go. I've had like radiation in my brain. Let's go first one again.
The first one again. What do you look at, and you made the statement that your mother, when she was alive, sometimes you feel like you disappointed her.
Yeah.
Now that she's passed away, you never wanted, she galvanized you.
Yeah. So when my mom was going through everything that she went through, she sacrificed for her kids. My sister, my brother, me. We were all, she just, later self, just, she went full tilt boogie into everything she did just to make sure that we would have opportunity. And I never really got it. I was clueless. I was an underachiever. The only competition I ever did well in was the one that got me a sponsor. I was last in Novice Nationals, next to last in Novice Nationals, second to last in Junior Nationals. And then the next year, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and that year, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. She said I had 1 year left. And so through a coaching change that happened out of a retirement of my other coach, I just pushed all my chips in, and I kind of did well that year. But I honestly think it's, so much of it was God, because, I didn't have a lot of integrity stored up, over the years. I was sort of doing it, but I didn't know how to do it. I was competing, but I didn't really know how to compete. And my coaches weren't nothing was getting through, and they were investing a lot in my skating because it gave me my health back. So, when I won that year and I got a sponsor, it was all God. I got my first triple that year, and that's the only reason I won the Nationals. The triple came 2 weeks before the Nationals. All these things, when I lay them out, it's kind of like, whoo, he was really involved. But when my mom passed, I just went on a walk, and I just decided that she had a great deal of faith in me, and I'm going to do everything I can to live up to that. And I'm going to take her with me wherever I go, and I'm going to try to be the person and the skater she thought I could be. And to answer your second question, if I had 5 minutes with God, my mother was standing right there, I would just be on my knees in pure gratitude to both of them for allowing me to be born. I was adopted at 6 weeks of age, and the fact that, she was my mom. There's so many things that could have gone in many different directions. And the fact that, that was the life that I was given as a foundation. It wasn't perfect, but, everything that she did for me, I was able to translate into good and in the long run. And, I'm still working on it. So it would be pure gratitude. I'd be on my knees and just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you.